Oh, shit.
Half of it is looking good. Haven't you seen some of the Netflix shit? I mean, I'm not
Yeah, you're
talking
right about
about
that.
some of the. I'm not talking about some of the great stuff on there, but there's also some shiny shit, which I hope to slip in there in between the great and the shiny shit, or not even there. I don't know. It's when people tape a comedy thing and they go, "I'm taping a special." What makes it special? You know, I'm just taping some comedy, and if it's special, then I'll call it a special, or isn't that special?
Some regular. You taping a
Yeah,
comedy regular?
taping a comedy
How
thing.
about how about this? Andy Andrist special. Make it. All right, hang on. Here it comes.
Oh, no. Well, that
I think
doesn't
that's
matter.
where he was. Well, I know that. I mean,
But we don't really know for sure.
There's Chad Chang.
Yes.
And all this with the screens and stuff is just upsetting to the core podcast people. Like
I know.
we don't want to see pictures, we want to hear it.
I get a lot of messages in that regard.
Uh-huh. Can you just
Yeah.
put it up here so we can,
Yeah,
yeah.
please put this on audio only podcast. Come on, please. And I'm like,
Oh,
no,
but
we are
I-
artists, and we demand that you view our art the way we envision it. You fucking assholes.
yeah.
Yeah.
All the people who don't know how to just put their phone face down. I think
Yeah.
that Chaille said that the other day.
You said that, Chad. That was you. That was really
Oh man, one of the
Well,
women
good thing
drivers
Chaille's
must have
here.
hit a bump.
Yeah. Wait till we come back to anyway.
to put the face down.
I'm just hearing bits of Shaylee.
Shaylee, just so you know, you're barely coming through, and the audio's all choppy.
We're gonna feel bad when somebody, as a
That's enough.
podcast listener is listening and then gets run over because they're not paying attention to what they're doing. They're watching this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll be
Well, there's some
murderers.
publicity finally, huh? We'll get some,
Yeah.
viral marketing.
Yeah, we'll just make it up. We'll put a phone in the pocket of somebody who got ran over. If we just,
Well-
it's the way I jaywalk. Chad Shank pointed out that I've probably gotten people killed by my tendency to jaywalk.
Yes.
As I get real nervous, especially when the thing's saying, wait, wait, wait. And then I go panic and run across the street, but then other lemmings follow.
That happened that was in Las Vegas, and we did that, and a lot of other people would go, and it wasn't really a problem because there wasn't a lot of traffic right there anyway. But one of the times Andy did that, this other dude had like a 30-pack of beer on his shoulder, completely obliterating his fucking peripheral vision, and just sauntered across behind Andy and almost got mowed the fuck down.
At least he would have died doing what he loved.
And all the spectators would have been able to get free pinata beer.
Oh, and how many people would have scrambled to get their phones on that scene? And I would have been going, whoa, what the fuck happened, man? That's terrible. You just killed that guy. No, I didn't. He's a jaywalker.
Dude, you would have been another 30 yards past it and still moving on to some other project you had just envisioned.
Yeah.
You're the kind of guy who leads people out into the street to be flattened and then doesn't even realize they did it. Just keeps right on fucking going.
Never follow somebody that's getting their kicks on LSD. You can hang
Unless you
there.
are too.
Yeah. If you're not in the...
You're absolutely right, Erickson. I had to wait until the light turned green and then catch up with it. Didn't even know I wasn't with him anymore. He's
That's
just
what I mean.
halfway down the fucking street still. I had to, hey, you almost killed a guy. What?
Again? Ah, jeez. I'm the most passive-aggressive murderer out there. I don't mean it. Shit. Dang it. I felt really bad because I thought I was driving up the hill today. A squirrel did that, cut back and ran under the thing, and I felt horrible about that. But when Chad told me I almost got people ran over, it didn't register. People and squirrels,
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, there's too many of one and not enough of the other.
There is a tendency to try to go along once you see somebody else go. It's the same reason that, like, if you're sitting at a red light and the guy in the left-hand turning lane next to you starts to turn, and you think, because they got a green arrow, and then you start to go because, oh shit, we're all going now. Let's do this. And the next thing you know, you're fucking dead.
Well, I'm a Leo, so that's where my skill set is I'm a leader, but you shouldn't follow me. Be your own leader, man. I empower you to not follow me.
Yeah, you're a leader. You just don't want anyone else to go there.
Yeah, it's up to, everybody has to make their own choices when they're jumping off of a ledge.
Some people are reluctant leaders. Andrus is an oblivious leader.
Yeah. I wish I could have gotten the military. I almost joined up. A couple times.
Yeah.
I'd be the only person with confirmed kills in the motor pool.
Boot camp confirmed kill. He marched in front of a truck.
Yeah, he gets the enemy to get him to walk out in front of a tank.
Yeah, I was gonna join the Navy for a short minute, and I went there, and then there's like people in them bell-bottom pants. No shit, I don't know, maybe they don't still wear the bell bottoms, but they were wearing them, and I was like, nah, fuck this. And then I was thinking,
to impress the kids.
Yeah, I was thinking National Guard, and because I could get money for college, and then when I defaulted on the loans, I could have some skill set when I disappeared. But yeah, the thought of boot camp, and I was real skittish about being yelled at home, and anyway, so I figured boot camp wasn't going to do it for me. But plus, there was no war or anything going on.
Well, before I joined the Army, I actually tried to join the Marine Corps because that was one of the bad motherfuckers, and that's what I considered myself at the time. And I was rejected by the Marine Corps because I had assault charges on my record.
Really?
I was 17 or 16 years old. I got done talking to the Marine Corps recruiter, and I'm like, "Don't you guys kill people? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was right in your target market. What happened?"
I think they lowered the standards because, now it's like, a couple of guys went out to Kabul after hours and smashed the family's head in. Yeah, boys will be boys.
Yeah, but that's assaulting the enemy. That's okay.
Right. Yeah.
And they're because they're all the enemy.
It becomes complicated when you're doing it for fun and it's off-duty hours. I guess.
Well, I was assaulting bad guys. I wasn't beating up my friends.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah. You don't have to twist my arm.
They like their soldiers that don't get caught.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Well, the army was nice enough to let me know. Oh fuck, that's a juvenile record, dude. We can sweep that under the rug. No worries. Don't worry about that.
March on over here, son.
Don't tell anybody. On the day the army recruiter called me up and goes, "Hey, we got to go take your physical tomorrow." And I go, "Oh, dude, I just smoked pot yesterday." And he's like, "All right, we'll do it in about 2 weeks then." I go, "All right, that'll work."
Yeah, when you're young, you can get it out of your system quick.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I didn't have any body fat then.
Yeah. My fat going into Dewey classes, it took me a month and a half to clear the THC out of my system. And then the numbers spiked again because I was working out. Not really working out, but sort of. It's working out something. It's working shit out.
I'll bet.
Working out sobriety.
Yeah. Chasing turkeys around your backyard.
Yeah. Well, there's I was sober for shit. I don't know. I didn't keep track of it. I remember
your sobriety. It was frightening for all of us, friend.
Uh-huh.
I didn't
Yeah.
too much during that.
You get a real good look at yourself, and it isn't very pleasant, and it's better to have a little padding when looking inward.
Yeah, you don't want to see all those sharp corners.
You know who's introspective? mass casualty shooters. They're very, very introspective, sober-esque, you know?
Yeah, that's usually the trigger. In fact, as soon as they look deep inside themselves, that's when they're like, you know what I should do?
Yeah, when you realize that you're not getting laid isn't because you're a drunk, it's because you're an asshole. I'm looking at you, proud fellas.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. I have smoked pot every day since I got out of the military. I smoked pot, since I was in high school, probably all the time. But I've had to quit for jobs. I had to quit for the military for different times. Since I got out of the army in 2002, I've not had to quit once. And at this point, I think I couldn't cleanse my system of THC. I don't care how many years you gave me. I don't think it would ever get out.
Yeah, we don't have that much time with climate change.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm gonna start spiking my weed with heroin. Why is people calling me?
Hang on. I think. Oh,
It's not me.
I think it might be me. Hang on. I think
Hello?
It's
Phone calls with Andy.
Yes.
It is Andy. All right.
Oh, cool. All right, I'll be there to pick it up in a bit. Thank you.
Oh. That
jack-
wasn't Chaille, huh?
My jacket's ready. I haven't. I'm taping some comedy in October, and I haven't really done a lot of prep on what I'm going to be saying. But I got my jacket.
It sounds like you put it in urgent as well. They don't call me when my shit's ready. They're just like, come back next week.
Yeah, well, it's hard to keep a good seamstress around.
It's also 38 days away, bro. Don't you think you got some time?
Yeah. Oh,
like now you're.
Well,
now you're
that's why I got the
keeping it
jacket
clean.
ready. Half of it is looking good. Haven't you seen some of the Netflix shit? I mean, I'm not talking about some of the. I'm not talking about some of the great stuff on there, but there's also some shiny shit, which I hope to slip in there in between the great and the shiny shit, or not even there. I don't know. It's when people tape a comedy thing and they go, "I'm taping a special." What makes it special? I'm just taping some comedy, and if it's special, then I'll call it a special, or isn't that special?
Some regular. You're taping a comedy regular.
Taping a comedy thing.
How about this? Andy Andrist special.
Yeah,
shit.
It'd be easy to get signs and stuff. I always want to buy one of those t-shirts that say sale. How much are your sale shirts? We're not selling those. Well, it says there for sale. I had a big discussion I was at Walmart. That's how I roll. I had to get Redwood Stain at Walmart, and they had a rollback pricing on refrigerators that said 97 cents. It was a small fridge, but still 97 cents.
Shit.
And I called a Walmart employee over there, and I said, "Hey, are these really 97 cents?" And he goes, "No, that's some mistake." I go, "How do you know it's a mistake? It says rollback pricing, like what the fuck? Maybe it's 1912 or whatever." Fridges were 97 cents back then. So I didn't get the fridge because he had to go check, and it wasn't 97 cents. I wasn't there for the fridge anyway. I was like, I don't need it. I don't need your shit, man. He acted like it was like I was a fucking idiot for asking the question because the price tag said 97 cents on a fridge.
Whenever my wife goes to the store and sees that kind of shit all the time, she gets a manager and demands that they sell it to her at that price. Like, it says 97 cents. You've got to sell it to me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I got my Xbox One when it brand new came out. She got it for me for like $230 because it was mismarked. It was supposed to be like $500. And
I'm gonna be selling small fridges.
On my website.
Yeah, go fund me or whatever the fuck. Send me money and I'll send you a small fridge for $70. No, that's including.
Still
No, that's not.
undercuts your Walmart.
I know. Yeah, I don't. I'd have to get back.
let's get back to the jacket. Did you really clean
So-
your jacket for the for comedy?
No, not cleaned it. I got purchased it. I'll show you.
Oh,
the shoes.
it's that okay. That's different. Now I'm following. You can wait. Oh man.
The shoes came in.
Those are just shoes, dude.
I know,
Just
but
white
Oh, I
say-
can't wait
alright.
to see the jacket
All right.
now.
they have
Yeah,
my
those
name
are
on
alright.
them.
Oh my
There you
God,
go.
you're going all out.
You're doing
Well-
a sticks and
well,
stones. Chappelle
I don't
there.
have any material, so I'm gonna have to fucking look shiny, and then I'll go, hey, this is a two-parter.
Hey, this jacket said it included jokes.
I got it at an after prom sale, so I'm not surprised it ain't funny.
Teenage pregnancy is never funny.
Oh no, I mean, well, it is. It can be. It can be. I was in one of my brother's daughters had a kid, and I went there to the after the baby was born, and then the father, and he didn't stick around long because he was a skateboarder. So, but he said, "Man, that's fucking weird, huh?" Like that he, it's like, good knowing you, dude. That was kind of the last time I heard. As his claim to fame was he skateboarded from Oregon, from San Francisco, and you can't keep a guy like that around long, especially when he makes a baby, and describes it as fucking weird. Yeah.
He probably meant, that's fucking weird. I had babies in the last two towns I was in too.
Yeah.
Fuck these bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that 1 foot isn't the only thing that's really strong. Or the one, I don't know. I never skateboarded. I fell off of them a couple times. Oh, this
Yeah,
looks easy, but yeah,
It's
it
not.
moves.
It missed me too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I could never hacky sack neither. I just I'd get high and I'd watch people do that and go, what the fuck is with these guys?
I couldn't skateboard, but I could hacky sack.
Yeah, I never
I
got
saw
either
that
of those.
Did you see the picture of your young Chad Shank? I bet he could hacky sack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a current Mishka picture. He was so shirtless and hunky.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah,
I was a hot little piece of ass in the trailer park.
yeah. I'm
bet.
surprised you didn't get tagged by some older gentleman.
Teenage pregnancy is never funny. It can grow up to be funny, but it's not funny.
You laugh. I was 13 years old and I was fucking a 14-year-old in the trailer right down the street. And she told her mom she was pregnant.
Oh,
I had to
shit,
go to
see?
lunch with her mom and my mom and me and her. I didn't even fucking know anything. I was 13. I didn't even comprehend any of it.
Where did you go to lunch?
Mexican food.
So they were trying for an abortion.
I didn't know what an abortion was, or I would have been suggesting it. I was fucking 13 years old. I was a naive fucking 13-year-old.
They got their daughter getting the spiciest quesadillas there are.
It's,
I broke into the sexual game with a dude, older gentleman, but my early experiences were with the ladies were trying to sell. Me and my brother it's like Inman. We peed in a cup and then we tried to tell him it was lemonade, and the neighbor girl wouldn't bite on it. She wouldn't buy one. I guess we should have chilled it.
So your first experience with a woman was peeing into a cup and trying to get her to drink it? Is that what you just said?
We're trying to no.
that might not be considered an experience with a woman, Andy.
We were trying.
I know
That's
you're
more
trying
than
to negate your other experience.
We were
with
trying
men.
to. No, it was a neighbor girl, not a woman, and we were trying to sell it. I didn't care what she. Once you buy it, that's up to you. But we were trying to pass it off as this was lemonade. I don't know. My brother was more of a leader than I was. Time.
So you were in the using urine as lemonade scam just for the money.
Yeah.
I get it.
We
I
we
get it.
we also shoplifted and we had other things going on too.
Sort of Renaissance kids.
Yeah.
White kid crime syndicate.
Yeah, kind of like the Stand By Me kid that got murdered. We were that kid. We're the ones they got rid of.
If all of Coquille, Oregon was that kid.
Yeah. I think they were. I go back to that town and it's like a TV set. It's fucking weird. I can't even believe I lived in that place. It's like it seems like like the size of a Walmart superstore now. My hometown.
Dude, we should go there with a video camera and walk around. You should talk about it.
Yeah, well, if when Provenza gets the movie done, we could go around and and I bet my hometown ain't gonna like it much.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think they could like maybe have we could fudge a little on what the movie's about and then have a big rollout in Coquille and everybody. Here's the key to the city.
And they see the movie.
Yeah, well, I mean there was a lot of pedophilia in my town, but I traveled outside to get I was more of a local talent. Like one of them kids that won a Michael Jackson dancing contest. I got shipped off, but a lot of kids in my town just took what they could get at home.
So you have the big premiere in Coquille, and then the review comes back and it says, yes, Pat
same
Spleen
old
Pat
shit.
Spleen was a pedophile, but the real monster here is Coquille, Oregon.
Well, we had a principal who was checking all the kids' assholes for wood chips.
What?
Every day.
What?
I didn't. Yeah, no shit. Principal.
Did you think you were stealing them or bringing them in? I don't understand.
Exactly. Are you smuggling them in or out? Were kids holding them there for pleasure? Is this like licking toads?
A lot of
which
questions.
One was he mad about?
He was a safety guy. He was the principal, and this is no shit. I didn't go to this grade school, and I didn't even know what a pedophile was at that time. And then I started dating one. So I wish somebody would have mentioned what was going on at that grade school to me, because a lot of my friends and every kid that went to that grade school, from what I understand, after PE, or they would do like jump, and they would jump into the sawdust pit. And if you've ever gone, into class with sawdust up your asshole, how distracting.
Listen,
you cannot study with
everybody who's been to school knows all about climbing out of the sawdust pit to go back to class. If there's one thing I know that.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a sawdust pit?
Everybody's heard the expression chip on your shoulder. Well, kids in Coquille were at risk having chips up their ass. So this principal took it upon himself to have them lean over a bench and spread their ass cheeks, so he finger fucked them looking for wood chips. I don't know if he ever found any, or if he did that bad cop thing where he planted a couple, but several of my friends went to court to testify against this guy about it. The guy who broke the story happened to be retarded, because he was him and his brother both got finger fucked, and this guy apparently didn't have standards. He went after both of the Merrit brothers.
You can't do that. They can corroborate their stories.
And David, the more technically retarded of the two, he could feel no pain, which we experienced a lot when boxing with him or playing tackle football. He did not experience pain in the traditional way.
Is that the prototypical meaning of the term retard strength? Like he didn't have
super strength, but he kind of Forrest Gumped off pain. He didn't get upset about it too much. But they asked, the Merrits were having their meal. This is, and you know, I think most of them are dead or not listening, or they wouldn't be able to watch it and listen or whatever. But
they'll be the ones who drive into something while driving.
I think it was, I think Dick Merritt asked the family at the dinner table how school was, and David said, the principal put his fingers in my ass or his butt, butthole, or however they said it at that house. I think my family was bottom. So so then questions started being asked, and several of my friends were, you know, one of my buddies went over and did the slip and slide after hours with this guy, Principal Witt. So he left town in a disgrace.
Was that a euphemism, or were they just a grown man out in the yard playing on a slip and slide with a kid?
Well, when you're back in those days, pedophiles were the friendly neighborhood guy. You know,
he really did have a slip and slide.
Yeah, I went to his haunted house. Although I was not, I never got intimate after jumping in the wood chips. I went to he had the best haunted house in Coquille. Especially if you knew his backstory. If you knew the backstory, that haunted house would be really great.
Some Go to the bench. Were real.
The bench of doom.
I think that Principal probably had a slip and slide because of the mistake of the euphemism. Like, he told some kids to come over for a little slip and slide, and they told their parents, and then the parents called him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, of course I do." And then he ran out to the Walmart and bought a slip and slide. Had to run one a weekend because otherwise he was going to jail.
Yeah. He's out there duct taping empty bags together on the lawn. Fuck.
He didn't do any jail time, but he went to Alaska and worked with retarded adults. So I think that, you know, that was a defining moment for both him and David. Yeah, back then a pedophile could just like beat it and head out of town and go somewhere else, and they didn't get you know. Most, you know, it's like they kids
just moved them to another parish.
Yeah, my friends were fifth graders, and they were testifying in court or they were set to testify in court, and man, it just turns out I could have saved myself a whole lot of grief by just talking to those guys and going, so what's this? My mom said it's a pedophore, but I found out that's like a little cake. You know, that guy's a pedophore, and I went down and I saw him, and I was like, man, them look delicious. I think I'll have some pedophores. Well, I wouldn't have gotten that joke if I didn't recently start watching the Great British Baking Show, but I actually got that. That's funny. Well, my mom mangled words, and so she would say you know, it's pedophore. You know, there's a lot of different variations, but pedophore happens to be a delicious little cake that leaves a good taste in your mouth.
And so were you in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
Turns out you were the pedophore.
I was the tiny, delicious
little cake.
Diddle cake. I said diddle cake. Yeah, I was a little diddle cake.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Good times it was. The 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, one of the first bits I heard, the first bit I heard Stanhope doing, and what he was talking about JonBenet. I went into the Seattle Underground. JonBenet was, you know, bless her heart, had just gotten her skull crushed or choked off. And then Stanhope was doing a bit about, you know, like, if you're going to dress like a cheerleader, or, you know, you're going to wear the little outfits. And it was shocking to me. But now I'm thinking about it. It's like, I was JonBenet, only I didn't have any pageants. But I was a little show off, and I like to change clothes a lot and run around in short pants.
Yeah. And you've always had ADHD and been bouncy, so you're probably like cartwheeling around in front of adults all the time, you know, like, oh, look at this spry young lad.
Yeah, I could see where my inattentiveness could be mistaken for interest.
Right.
Oh, this kid's playing, you know, he's all over the place, man. He's just hey, you don't have to be nervous.
Yeah. This young boy lives in the now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This kid got wood chips up his ass.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll bet that guy, my guy, would have been horrible checking kids' assholes because he didn't have very good hand dexterity because he was crippled. He'd like pinch your hands, and I bet he couldn't even pick a wood chip out of a fucking wood chip pile back then. Now he can. He picked up a check and wrote it to a couple of lawyers. Yeehaw.
Oh shit.
Where's that Chaille?
Speaking of retarded Alaskan adults, we have not heard from Chaille in a while. I feel like the women driving his van have been probably messing this.
Remember the good old days when a Stanhope tour meant a bunch of dudes in the clubhouse and we could say what we wanted?
Yeah. I guess he went all PC on us.
I mean, it's obvious this whole Star is Born scenario doesn't. Stanhope probably snorted Xanax and didn't see the end of A Star is Born, but it doesn't end pretty, you know. Doesn't end good for the star.
Has he said that before? Or did you just think of that because that's?
Yeah, it's me. It's probably his too now. You know. This podcast, this is like a podcast feeds directly into Doug's thing, and he listens. He listens.
I posted a link to last week's episode on one of the Facebook Doug Stanhope fan groups that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment I put was, "This show is like the Howard Stern after show, but for Stanhope fans." And then the first comment was from a guy who said, "Yeah, but without Howard Stern." Or no, he goes without Howard Stern and Baba Booey, and he listed like everybody on the Howard Stern show, and I'm like, yeah, for Stanhope fans, like, oh Jesus Christ,
back office radio.
You can't, you know.
Gary the retard is always the first to respond. I'm pouring.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Chaille was having a difficult time making that connection because the audio was all fucked up at the beginning. So I think he probably fell on his sword for us. And
I got a great idea. We can have a fifth screen in waiting, just in case, and we can have Inman on hold just in case somebody fades out. This one we'd say, well, we can't, we're still working out some of the technical problems, James, but we could have a bullpen.
Yeah.
No, but not Inman, like somebody who'd be fun.
Don't say his name a third time. Do not say his name a third time. I don't want him to appear.
Man, that'd be some shit.
Yeah, it would be funny though if you had him in a window, like a camera on him, but on mute, so that you can only see him ranting. You never had to actually listen to any of it. And then we could just hit a button at any point, and it would unmute it, and you could hear him like, these motherfuckers can't take this, and I'm a Buddhist. And then you just hit the button again, and he's silent.
You know what? That's a fucking great gimmick, Erickson. You do that, and then he releases only his part as his own podcast for people who care to hear what he's saying. We can have the.
Or you could just plug in one of the many hate messages he's left on any of our things. Is what's going on with you, James? I hate you. Suck. You're the worst. You're not really seeing the new Spider-Man movie.
Dude, you just nailed it, because I have at least 12 of those calls.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can make a GIF of Inman and just him doing this. And then that can play on a 6-second loop while we take the audio from these calls and play it. And then we can monetize Inman as a character without including him at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier than that face replacement thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's a decent idea. We could just have like an Inman soundboard, like,
because it's like
you hit a button and it says an Inman thing.
Yeah, they're so passionate. It's like it's like when somebody really believes in Jesus, and you're like, wow, really? That it's like nobody really feels that strongly about me, and James leaves these hateful messages, which is just like love, really.
It's it's a cry for attention. But it is funny because after we did the whole thing where I talked to him about I called him to do see about setting up a couple of shows with all of us as an unbookables thing. We've been over this. But then he switched it to wanting to play here in LA, which I'm like, it's not happening. And then after 30 minutes of screaming at him about that, he finally accepted that and said, all right, well, then get me on the show in Austin. And I'm like, I'm done. And I hang up. So then he leaves me, 10 messages that day, just ranting, screaming, raving. I don't answer. Then he blocks us all on social media. Then he unblocks us. Then he litigates the whole thing on Twitter and Facebook. And at the end of all of it, he says to me, he goes, okay, man. And this is in just like a thread of some other sub-thread. You know what I mean? Like it's worked its way all the fucking way down to this. And he says to me, okay, man, I get it. Like, you're right. Let's just talk about doing some shows in the Midwest this winter. and I didn't even respond to that, but I was like, okay, that's exactly my point, James. That's what I wanted to talk to you about when I called you. Now look what all of the stuff you put me through to get us to that point. When all you had to do was say, hey, Brett, thanks for calling and talking about that. Let's actually talk about it. That's why I don't want to work with you. I can't do this. It's not cute anymore. It's funny looking back on it in the same way that boot camp was funny. Like, it's not fun to go through. You wouldn't sign back up for it.
He's like the movie First Blood. Remember that? The first Rambo? Like if Rambo would have, after he blew up the town, would have said, maybe we put up some Christmas lights. Oh, you fucked up the whole town, dude. There's no electricity. You killed the sheriff.
No electricity.
Sheriff was in charge of decorations, and you killed him.
That's the very first time ever that James Inman's been compared to John Rambo.
No, he's Dennehy.
Totally. He really is.
He ruined the town. Rambo is just a reactionary.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I guess there's a new Rambo coming out.
Yeah, there is. Last Blood. I think it's called for real.
He's fighting dementia and bleeding in his asshole.
Yeah. It's Rambo Last Blood. It's just him wiping his ass after he shit.
This time, he's fighting for Medicare. Last Blood.
Oh, shit.
I don't want another transfusion.
This is not a pre-existing condition.
This time, Rambo's fighting the system. We paid for health insurance for 50 years. 50 years. You watch Rocky IV? Which one was the Rusky? You watch that now, and it all makes sense. When Sly at the end of it, he says, Russians and Americans, you guys started cheering me. Let's all come together and maybe you guys buy a president. He says a bunch of stupid shit and you fucking cheer. I can't do impressions.
No, really?
I can, but people nobody knows.
Part of that's what made it so funny.
Yeah. Who was that an impression of? Oh, that was one of the fucking Merrit brothers.
I'm the reason one of the Merrit the more less retarded Merrit brother was going to join the military, and I at a party I go, can you do this? And jumped up on a rail, and it was kind of dangerous, but I was a little less drunk and more coordinated, and he did it, and it cost him a military career.
Oh,
he could have been. He could have saved, he could have been the one to end 9/11 early or whatever. He could have been the reality chick that blew the whistle or whatever. Hey, 9/11 was a real shitstorm, huh? But have they really come out with a really cool movie about it yet? I think we're ready. People have really started to forget, and I think a cool movie would, a Nicolas Cage as a guard or something. Have they done that?
That would be,
Maybe they've already done that. No, I think they
do. Let's write it. Let's write it.
I feel like that movie was something I've already seen. Nicolas Cage is a transit cop
You've
in
seen it
9/11?
10 times. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Fuck.
Yeah, we could get Woody Harrelson to be in it too. He could be like a grizzled, old manager.
Yeah.
Oh no, he has to be a firefighter.
Oh yeah. Retire. Like he's the firefighter that's a week away from retirement.
How about Woody Harrelson plays every character in 9/11? He's a stockbroker. He's got smoke on his face. He's going up the stairwell. He's a woman coming down the stairwell.
Oh,
That's even better. No, let's get.
Bonnie. He's all of them.
We could get Jamie Foxx to play all those characters. That would be it.
oh.
Tyler Perry presents 9/11.
Well, but there was a lot of white guys there that day. I like it.
Well,
I
yeah,
like Harold.
you're right.
Because it's a.
There were a lot of white guys there that day. I forgot. They're the ones who did it.
So
You
remember,
don't want to have a movie with all white people. So what you do is you have Woody Harrelson play everybody in the whole movie, but you have Dave Chappelle reprise his role in Half Baked as the janitor, and he's just in there mopping while in all the different scenes, while Woody Harrelson is all the other characters.
He's been mopping since Half Baked.
he just got the floor clean, and then everybody comes running down the stairwell.
God damn, man!
You know who got a
man, and then when the buildings have all fallen and there's like the dust has risen and you're seeing through the post-apocalyptic haze, he's still standing there with his mop and his bucket like, oh man, somebody's got to clean this up. Oh shit.
Shit, and he lights a joint.
And the movie ends with a bunch of Woody Harrelsons and Dave Chappelle smoking a joint.
Singing, "Why Can't We Be Friends?"
Oh man, I love this. This is my favorite movie ever.
And then we'll do a follow-up, 9/11 Part 2.
9/12.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. 9/13. And then like a whole series, like a 2 month after, a day in the life. I don't know. No, you take a different character and you put. I don't think people want to hear about 9/11. They want to hear about comedy, and 9/11's a real bummer.
I think we just proved otherwise.
Yeah, I think if you look at it now, it's kind of it isn't that big of a deal compared to what we're in for.
It's gonna seem like a comedy once we get what's really coming to us.
They'll be like, a few years from now, there'll be Jews going, I wish I would have burnt up in a building. At least it wouldn't have been so humid. There's an impression.
That was an old Jew after climate change. Dude, you're ready for this special, dude. You are ready for.
Oh man, that joke is gonna go well with your jacket.
That's the closer, but I'll have that jacket on and shoes with my name subtly in back. Those shoes were custom made factory, and it didn't cost that much. I went through a friend who got a discount, but I was like, cool, man. And then they can go, you can put your name in the back in white. I don't want them to see it. I'll put it in black. That way I know there's a Chinese kid being called back to the line. Just my name in the back, and only I'll know it.
It would be really funny, Andy, if you did. It would be a very specific joke, but it would be funny if you did like a jumpsuit thing with your name on it, like exactly like Chappelle's, like 6 months after Chappelle's special.
I got
like act like you didn't, like it was parallel thought, like, oh, I just also was wearing this same outfit exactly.
Hang on, I got to call my seamstress.
Luckily, you have 18 weeks until the 38 days until the special.
Until then, I'm comedy wise, I'm doing some gigs in Eastern Oregon, so I'm working on uppercuts, cutting through crowds fast. And then I'm going to do a little pandering, I think.
All right.
I don't know about that, but I think,
I was writing. Sorry, I was writing something.
Oh, well, the one I'm worried about is Baker City. Baker City is a no cover charge, which, it's like Baker City. So it's like everybody that's, it's a Saturday night in Baker City. And I don't even know what Baker City is. It's Eastern Oregon. My brother did some prison time out there.
I can tell you what it isn't. It isn't a city.
Yeah, it's a real fucking, like San Francisco doesn't have to call itself San Francisco City. It just is Chicago City. Well, New York kind of fucks it up, but they're arrogant punks out there anyway.
People from New York don't call it New York City.
They don't call it salsa neither.
People from Indiana call it New York City.
Yeah. And fuck Indiana. If we have any listeners in Indiana, what are you doing? Why aren't you stabbing somebody? Come on, man.
Go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, stab the first person you see.
Yeah. Stab up.
Stop stabbing down.
Stab up. Or stab the guy in the glory hole, because eventually the VP's going to be in it. Booyah! That's a little political humor. Mike Pence is so gay. I don't have a joke there. But look at that guy. He has a seamstress. That guy. Are you going to show us your penis, Erickson? No, he's panning down there. I thought.
Oh, no, I just had to get a better.
Hey, we're going to be in Austin here pretty quick, fellas.
That is this month, yeah.
Yeah, that's happening. That's going to be fun.
To it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're going to be doing this podcast live. Did you know that? I mean, like it's going to go out. It's going out. Of course, we're doing it live. It's going out live.
Is this one live? No.
We're really here, but it's not going out until Friday. It's Wednesday right now.
Oh, okay.
So there's a 2-day turnaround. Now we're taking the viewers and listeners behind the scenes of the Issues with Andy podcast. Vodcast, I think, is what the technical term is for it. But we'll do the Austin show.
Podcast,
We're gonna live stream it.
Will we be podcasting out there, or will we be invisible to the audience?
It's a vodcast.
Oh, I thought you said podcast, but I like that, that people can see us. But if we're doing a live podcast and people demand that we aren't seen when they're listening to us, should we just sit behind a wall and podcast?
No, those people just have to turn their chairs backwards.
Yeah.
We're staring at each other.
We're fucking it up by giving them the live podcast experience when they ain't live. I mean, they're living, but they're not alive. They're not live.
Not like us. Look at us. We're all trapped in tiny rooms right now.
I'm not. I'm in the great wide open.
Yeah. You can make a run for it.
I could leap to a pretty severe injury right now.
Oh yeah, I see your deck. I see your deck, little half wall right there.
And
I thought you were by your garage this whole time, because I've been to your house, Andy Andrus.
Yeah, this is the deck.
Yeah, I thought you were down by the garage.
I've been I got a BB gun, but I like putting a sniper rifle on people. And it's like, go get your morning paper, all right. And I'm, it's just like, I could end you, dude, or at least put a welt on you he'd notice it if I hit him, 30 feet away, you'd still feel it. And he's just unaware. He's unaware that I'm tracking him.
It's good enough that
And then this is plan B. This is when they get up into the perimeter. Yeah, that's part of my murder kit I put together.
No, that's his plan B. But that's if they get in close. He just hits himself in the head with that till he passes out.
Yeah. Well, I put together a murder kit one time, and I don't want to get into the reasons, but I didn't want to be the guy who goes to Walmart to piece together everything. So I went to the Goodwill, and it was near the holidays, and there was like 4 or 5 Hispanic gentlemen standing huddled around where I needed to get, and it's like break. We're all looking at baseball bats, so it's like I guess it must be a pineapple league they're in or something. But I'm looking to get a bat so I can crush somebody's pineapple, and I don't know what they're doing, but I had to grab that one because they were picking them all. It's like I don't want an aluminum bat. Quite honestly. That's ruined the game, the aluminum bat. I'm not talking. Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm talking murder. So when you hit somebody with an aluminum bat, it's ting.
Yeah. That's the thing you got to think about, Andy, is that if you hit someone and you murder someone with an aluminum bat, you can wipe it clean. If you murder someone with a wooden bat, you can't get the DNA and the blood out of the deep pores of that Louisville Slugger. There's gonna be a CSI that fucking traces that back to you. You got to be thinking about what happens after the murder. That's the real difference.
A wooden bats easily burn. You just burn that fucking bat the fuck up.
Yeah, but then what if someone sees you burning it at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're like, "Oh, I saw him out in his backyard at his trash pile."
Oh no, you're gonna burn the bat the same place you burn the victim, and that's gonna be in a far, far away area that nobody will even know, where you can just have a fire going for like 6 days while you just keep hucking wood on.
Have you seen those bionic legs they put on the crippled dude, and he's walking around? Like, if you murder somebody, you could put some crippled legs on him and then walk him in front of a bus. Like, he's already dead, but then everybody sees him. He looked like he had blood on his face, but he walked in front of a bus, so there's really no reason for an autopsy. I'm just thinking ahead. We're all going to be faced with this new technology and trying to work with it.
I'm not sure how this is going to work going forward, but let me just say this, that I think what we're just doing right here, sharing our murder tips. Three slightly disturbed, old, fuck it all, white, straight, angry guys.
Wow.
Right now, in the world of podcasting, one of the top podcasts in the entire world is Karen Kilgariff and I forget the other woman's name. The podcast My Favorite Murders, in which they basically talk about murder, but from the Dateline-y woman's perspective. I feel like we're either going to be the least popular podcast of all time, or we'll have spun it back around to be the most, because we're the guys sharing like this.
And I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I was going to murder another white dude. You're
only going to use your powers for good.
Clarify.
The part that got me, it was a pretty long commute. Like, I had a pretty good window, but it's like, it's fucking 20 hours to murder this dude, and maybe he's bluffing. I just blocked him on stuff instead. But I did have the bat and
probably a good choice.
Yeah, I have a bat and a hoodie. Yeah, I probably should get rid of the hoodie. It's a crutch at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's hack if nothing else.
Yeah.
First degree murder is the hardest for certain. You got to put a lot of work into pre-planning and a crime of opportunity is the easiest, cleanest fucking, a hitchhiker on a stretch of fucking desert road that nobody's gonna miss or even find. Fucking, hey, I didn't plan on this, but welcome to the party.
Yeah, well, I've definitely planned or thought about a murder, and then the one I really put together a kid on. But there was this one dude who was he's in a, I don't know what my friend was thinking, but two of us picked this kid we called the Lizard, and I don't like him to this day. If you're listening, fuck you, Lizard. You're a fucking jerk. But he said he goes, I don't like being called Lizard, man. And me and my friend were driving him from a party. I was like, be grateful we're giving you a ride, Lizard. And then he said he would burn my family's house down. And back then I still had some like pride. So I was like upset about it. Yeah. But he was. Me and my friend looked at each other and like, maybe we don't take the Lizard into town. I think the Lizard made anyway. We can edit that.
See, that's the other that's the other mistake. A very common mistake. No co-conspirators. Somebody's always gonna puss out on you and fucking tell.
Yeah.
And then don't tell anyone after. You have
to
keep it to yourself forever.
Right. Yep.
That's why I went after the feller in Florida with a camera, just so I'd queer it for later opportunities. Like, put it all out there and go, I'll kill him publicly as opposed to, I would like to, maybe be a nurse when he's in a nursing home. And I have some other.
not even do anything. Just like let him know that you got your eye on him at all times so that he constantly thinks you're going to do something. Like that would be even more devious and be like, oh, fuck this. Like every spoonful of every little bit of strained peas is going to be like, is this the one?
Yeah. Or, oh, you're sitting in your dirty underwear. That's too bad, huh? You're just like every other person in the nursing home now. Yeah, there's a real shortage of we're all in for it, but but yeah,
not if we turn the murder kit on ourselves.
I think if I keep talking, I'm going to end up retired in the back of somebody's property in the Everglades, working as a nurse, taking care of my old friend Steve/Pat. Hey, it's time to put pudding in your face, asshole.
Yeah. Hey, there's got to be a reason to keep going, and that's yours. All right, I think that's this is a good amount of time to call a podcast. How do you guys feel about that?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'll come back with my idea for launching pedophiles with a catapult into the glades next week.
Hey, there's always time. There's always time, and there's always going to be pedophiles to launch into the glade.
Hey, as long as kids are showing off,
always be a glade.
Yeah.
I want to give a special shout out to our friend and missing co-conspirator as we flew in with one of our like the missing pilot formation today because Greg Chaille is on the road beginning the Doug Stanhope fall tour. He was here for the beginning and he couldn't get a good connection and I feel like he fell on his sword so that he wasn't constantly bothering us with that the whole time and making the whole show about him not getting a good connection back in. So he's out there, so he'll be back next week. Hopefully,
he's touring with the Doug Stanhope tour reboot of Ghostbusters.
Get on the mailing list at DougStanhope.com to find out if he's coming to your area.
You know what's great is that you mentioned earlier, Andy, that the three of us will all be at Altercation Fest in Austin, September 27th, I think, is our show, whatever the Friday night is. But many of us will be there for a couple of days. And then we're going to podcast on Saturday afternoon live. We'll live stream it. But a couple of days ago, about a week ago, JT put out an announcement that said, "Oh, I've got a big announcement coming up on Monday," and I got so many messages. People were positive it was that Doug was coming. Yeah, and I was like, "Well, I haven't heard a thing." And then the announcement was that JT is going on the road with Eddie Pepitone after the
How about that?
over. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. I fucking laughed. JT, you're my fucking hero. That is funny as shit. Like you just fucking roped everyone. And I legitimately got up in the morning and checked my Altercation Fest notifications. Like, and then I'm doing the time zone thing. Oh, it's only 9:30 here. It's only 11:30 in Austin. I've got a half an hour to wait. I do the countdown. I'm like, he puts out the Facebook post, the Twitter, the tweet, "Hey, I'm going on the road with Eddie Pepitone." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting. Just make the announcement."
Yeah. That's how I felt about when Mueller testified. Like, this is gonna be. We're getting somewhere today. Big news.
Yeah, it turns out Mueller's just going on the road with the bitter Buddha.
Yeah, cool. Good for him. So we plugged shit. I got shit to plug.
Point is, we will be at Altercation Fest at the end of September, and we'll do this live, and it'll be fun. And
get my chair out there. How am I going to get my set all the way to Austin?
Don't bring your jacket, dude. Save that shit.
It'll be. I'm living in my car. You know, I'm touring. I got like no gigs, and I'm touring in my car, sleeping.
If you take your jacket to Baker City, you're going to have to get a new one before you do your special.
I don't want to spend all
that fucker on a hanger until it's the time.
I don't want to spend all that much time rinsing hillbilly blood out of my jacket.
And hillbilly blow.
Yeah, that's what I meant. My nose causing my white trash blood to spill.
All right, so Andy, you got shows in Baker City and
I'm
where
doing
else?
a couple of gigs, 3 gigs with White Cotton in Texas after the festival, but I'm headlining.
Go to jaywhitecotton.com or find Jay on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. He's fantastic, and he knows how to do social media. So I'm sure he has actual links to ticket purchasing sites for those shows, and those will be great shows.
Yeah,
don't try to go to Andy's page or try to go to Andy's Twitter to find a link that will get you a tickets to the Jay White Cotton Andy Andrus show. It won't work.
I have a website now. It's all getting fixed. It's all better.
Yeah.
The further removed from Inman I am, the better my technology is getting.
You just said his name a third time. Chad, we should resubscribe to your Twitch channel.
Twitch.tv/HD_fatty. Easier than that, just go to my Twitter at HDfatty and you'll see it. Normally, I just beg for free Amazon Prime subscriptions that you probably already have and aren't using. But if you don't have that, I'll beg since I recently acquired my dream truck. That I've wanted since high school, and I have to get parts for it. So now I'm going to beg for
is that the Chevy that
subscriptions?
That's the Chevy you pulled the dashboard out of. Now, see, that was impressive to me because I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, I wouldn't know where to begin. But let me just say this about your Twitch channel, as I have followed from the start. I think that saying at the beginning, hey, you already have a free Twitch. You get one free Twitch subscription with your Amazon Prime membership. Let it be mine if you're not using it. That's a good way to get people hooked, and it's still valid. But you do enough Twitch stuff now that it's worth it on its own to subscribe to your channel on Twitch.
Thanks, man.
I think it's funny, and you always have Joby and Hack Oddity and a bunch of other guys on floating in and out. More of the Doug Stanhope universe, all funny, hilarious motherfuckers, and there's good content on there. So keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Well, now during September, so it's called Subtember, and if you've never subscribed before, you can subscribe for only $2.49.
There you go.
So check it out. If not, I appreciate it. All the resubs and stuff.
And Andy just for sure. Andy just left the conversation. Apparently, he's got something super pressing to do right now. So let me say, I know you're hearing us and seeing us if you're watching on YouTube. That's where we exist right now. And so what we want you to do is watch there. Subscribe to our channel. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel and we get enough YouTube subscribers and we get enough views, only then will I put this out as an audio podcast, you cocksuckers. So come subscribe to Issues with Andy on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.